Here we are for another edition of the Lizzie and Me podcast. I'm going to invite our guest on here. How's everybody doing? Looking forward to having everybody join. As we're waiting for the other guests, go ahead and take a nice deep breath in. An invite, another invite. We should be popping on here pretty soon. How's everybody's day going? How's your week going? Any good plans for the weekend? Hello. How are you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. I'm gonna get off. Can you send her a message? Corona's gonna send you a message of exactly how to get on. Oh,
there.
We're here. Look at that.
Hey kids, how are you?
Good.
Hey,
How are you
welcome.
doing?
Hey, I was trying to connect on my computer. See, I see you here, and I couldn't do it. So I just went ahead on my phone like the kids do.
There
we go.
There's no Kent on the Lizzie and Me podcast.
Hey, I like that, kid. That's very positive.
Yes.
Oh, there I am. Well, I won't look at that. That'll confuse myself here.
Yes. We don't want you getting confused.
Thank you both so much for having me on.
Oh, what a pleasure.
Well, we like to think we're like amateur sex positive people. So we wanted to invite a professional sex positive person to just like show us like what we can aspire to.
Well, that's very sweet, but you have genitalia and you have a mind and a heart and a spirit. So that means you're sex positive. No two ways about it.
Okay. I was thinking I needed to get some clothes that weren't as revealing.
That are revealing or are not?
Less revealing, because you like were able to see all that over the phone.
Well, I just feel it from your energy. You know.
Thank you.
Kids,
Thank you.
I'll tell you who I am, if you like.
Absolutely. Please.
We have some time.
Please.
My name is Famke Roumstead. I have a certificate in human sexuality from the Manatee Community College, which is no more. That's in Sarasota, Florida. I would call myself mostly a sexutainer, okay? So edutainer, maybe, if you will. I try to read as much as I can. I've had varied sexual experiences, and I try to share the knowledge as best I can.
Got it.
Okay.
So before you explain sex positive, can you explain sex negative? Oh,
that's very interesting. Okay. Well, I think we're brought up in a lot of shame in the world in general, right, about our bodies, about our sexuality, about our feelings and emotions. Particularly men are told an awful lot that they are not allowed to share their emotions. And women are told that they are not allowed to have sexual feelings, to explore their sexuality. It's not safe. Now, you kids are younger than I am, and I think that's all changing. But for example, take the word vagina, okay? So we all know that word, and so many women are trained to call their vulvas a vagina. It's not accurate. When we say vagina, we are talking about a canal, either for someone else's pleasure or for delivering life. Both of those are valid, but they take away the sexuality from a woman. or from a trans man or non-binary person,
Mm-hmm.
right?
100%.
So the negativity is, I think, probably millennia old, to control women primarily, to make them cover their bodies, to make them not talk about their sexuality and things that make them hot, because it is a method of control. So that, to me, the controlling aspect of another's sexual being is sexual negativity.
Nice. I was having a conversation with two people about comparing clitoris mutilation with circumcision.
Absolutely.
That's a good one.
It is female circumcision.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
And
that is also a method of control.
Yeah. And it's interesting that we do that to men, and then we judge in Africa that they do that to women, but we do that to men in this community.
It is true, and I agree with you, but you still get sexual pleasure from a penis, usually, if it's not botched, after circumcision. Would you agree?
Yes.
What about you, Corona? What do you think? I mean,
I'm
assuming
I don't know.
Have a penis.
I don't have a penis. Well, we can start there. I mean, I would imagine
she's
someone
rented
who has
one before.
A vulva, like,
she's not
and
a
vagina.
But she's rented one.
I think they would feel the same, right? I mean, as far as on my end, I wouldn't know how the penis would feel if it loses or not, right? I can speak out of my experience. But that's a really interesting comparison there, Steve, that I hadn't really focused or hyper focused on like this.
It is interesting, but again, going back to the pleasure focus of a circumcision, the female circumcision is about taking away total pleasure. And in essence, controlling. Now, I have this very interesting book on becoming a woman, and it's from the 50s. Certainly smells like it, or maybe even the 40s. And they talk about female circumcision in here. I mean, that's insane. But it was done, let's see. If I can't find it, I'll abandon it. I just read a passage about a young girl needing to avoid strenuous activity during her menstruation. And we know that's not true. So it's a book of lies. Oh,
interesting. Now, is this a book that you found that has been assigned as reading for like in higher ed or in academia?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
50, 60, 70 years ago.
Wow.
So this tells you the kind of, I know you use Mickey Mouse a lot to sort of be a mouthpiece, if you will. And Mickey, you think about the Mickey Mouse show, and everything had to be straight and narrow and wholesome, quote unquote. Right. And somehow sexuality is not wholesome. And that's what this book says. It talks about the sensitivity of the clitoris. Oh, okay. May I?
Yeah. Play with it.
There is an anatomical factor that sometimes causes irritation about the clitoris, and thus encourages a manipulation of the delicate reproductive organs. Manipulation. Although such cases are not very common, evidence of irritation of these tissues is sufficient reason for a young woman to consult a Christian physician.
That sounds hot.
Specifically.
See, I'm liking you already. That's the way to turn these things on their head. It's important to translate the bullshit that we've been given.
Yes,
that's right.
Into something that makes us feel better. And oftentimes the remedy for this situation consists of a minor surgical operation spoken of as circumcision. And a lot of people prefer it to allowing a condition of irritation to continue. Can you imagine a young 13-year-old girl, 12, 11-year-old girl in 19-something reading that and thinking it's not natural to feel these wonderful sensations around my clitoral area?
For sure. Even itching sometimes is really us feeling bliss.
Oh, that's interesting. How so?
It's like think of the clit, and then think of the penis and all the nerve endings that are on your lips and on your body. And sometimes we're feeling bliss and we're feeling a good thing, and we're scratching it. We might be easing it in some ways, but we might be trying to stop that energy flowing.
That's very interesting. That's something I hear about stretching too, that sometimes when you stretch, you're actually putting tension back into your body instead of allowing the channel to be open.
Got it. Another reason not to stretch.
Right.
I didn't need one, but good on that. Good on that.
I have
Okay, so
here.
So
what's
go
that?
ahead.
Corona?
I have one here, and this is me. So when I speak on here, it's going to be out of my actual experience and some of the things that I've, heard or seen through people, right?
Sure.
And one of the things that I've always found really confusing is obviously the anatomy of a female is different, right, than a male's, and males seem to get pleasure from vaginas that are quote unquote tighter, right?
Sure.
And we never place the focus on why that might be the case, right? For some reason, there's this mentality from the male that I've heard that someone who's tighter is because they have a better quote unquote vagina or vulva, whatever it is that they call it, right?
Right.
But in reality, a woman who's tight doesn't necessarily enjoy whatever is going on.
That's very,
right.
Very, very true. Very, very true. It can be painful. It can be trying to ram a sewing machine into a keyhole. You know, I do think that there is. It makes sense that the penis would want a massage. Right. And if it doesn't get that massage, hot dog in a hallway type situation, then it's not as pleasing. But then that means spice it up.
Right.
Use a swing. And what's that?
Using tools.
Tools. Exactly. You've got to fill your toolbox. You've got to fill it with all kinds of exciting and spicy things and just roll with it. I know people who've had children and they feel certainly, well, I think, do you have children?
I do. I'm a mother.
Oh, wonderful.
Not me.
You, Steve?
No, I don't have any
Okay.
children.
How many?
Steve is a child.
I'm raising my inner child.
Good on you.
Yeah.
Yes. I have a 4-year-old.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Excellent. It's such a joy.
Oh my God.
But then you start getting in your head, oh, Madonna versus whore. I don't mean Madonna the singer, but Madonna the symbol. I can't be both. I'm a mother. How can I have sex? Or I'm a mother. I'm stretched out. F it. This is where you look into your toolbox and you say, hey, kid, you might think I'm all stretched out, but I think maybe you're lacking a little bit in the pants department. And let's help each other out. Yeah. You don't have to say it that strongly. Just get a toy. Do anal and have some sort of dildo or something that you can use in the vagina. Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you have any other questions, Corona?
No.
Okay. From a sex positive standpoint, I know a lot of times it's hard for partners, whether it's temporary or long term, to communicate in bed.
Yes.
To ask for what they want a lot of times. And I think that's so important, because a lot of times people come to a situation like oh, this they think, oh, this guy's impotent, he can't have sex. But it's like, why can't an impotent guy wear a strap on?
Ooh, that's a great idea.
Very much well can. That's the whole part about creating your toolbox, right? And I think that a big part of even having the toolbox is breaking past that shame of going to a shop or going online and buying yourself something discreet, and then finding your solo self-care time and venturing into that. Now, a big part of building any experience, I think the biggest part that is necessary is the communication aspect. I think that's exactly
100%.
Everything kind of just goes southbound, right? Because I mean, okay, let's talk about the size and the girth. That's all going against a man's ego or building the ego, right? Now the whole
he thinks
penetration behind is a sticky subject, no pun intended, because some females do go through rape.
You're sure?
Some females do have that trauma, so they have PTSD.
Sure. And
it's not even something that they talk about often openly, right? But it's like, how can you go to that channel if you're not working past that through the methods of communication and building the relationship with the other person?
It all starts with consent.
Exactly.
All of it. So
number one.
Number 1 through number 100. You can't get past consent, or else you won't have a good time. That conversation on a date or a hangout or something, or, hanging out watching a movie or something is, hey, I'm really attracted to you. And would you be okay with us having a little commingling, however you say it. And then you move on from there. You know what? I don't like butt play. Please don't touch my butt. I know it's crazy, or it's not crazy. The craziness line, per se, is more about involving humor, right? We all think that we've got to be in the bedroom, only serious. But you have to remember that we're all human.
That's right.
Right? So the human condition allows us to speak with one another 100% about your communication, right? So you speak to each other and you say, hey, I really just want to lay with you. I don't need penetration. I can maybe give you a little hand job or something, but I really just want to be us snuggling. What do you say? And you have to be prepared for the answer. Oh, you know what? I'm really kinky. Oh, I'm not kinky. I don't like that at all. But hey, let's finish this movie and finish our kale corn and then be done with it. That's an ideal world.
I like that. I wish we lived in a world like that.
Well, and there's some people like that, and you got to train people. You got to train people.
That's the part.
So an interesting thing, I maybe off of those numbers in a post Me Too generation, 50% of women are not aggressive, and 50% of the women like men that are aggressive, for the ones that are interested in men.
Is this a true fact? Is this evidence based?
I took it out of the ethers.
Okay.
So that's my own experience. For the women that I'm attracted to, 50% are more want some like aggressive. So sometimes it's a turnoff for consent, but the fact of you having a conversation with them and saying, well, I like men that are aggressive, then you can kind of like take the lead a little, but then stop, pause, and observe.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, those are the situations, Steve, where you have to say, okay, maybe sex doesn't happen tonight. Maybe this is my first interaction with this person, and they're letting me know they like aggressive, or they don't. And maybe the next time, you know, this doesn't work for a one-night stand, but my feeling is a one-off still has to have communication.
100%.
You know, I have been in the S&M scene before where I've gone in public to a fetish ball and had all sorts.
Tonight. For my
You're going to one. Oh, fantastic. I'm excited. What are you wearing?
Oh my gosh. I will have to send you a selfie.
Okay, please do. I would love to see it. Sure. But you know, when I have gone to them before, I know who I'm going with, and I have had that conversation. It doesn't mean slip-ups don't happen. I've certainly had things in orifices that I didn't request. You know, and then it has to be a conversation afterwards, which is not very pleasant, but it's still like, hey, I know you thought I like it really rough, but I don't like it really, really rough. And then you have to explain what really, really rough is. You know, that XYZ that you stuck in ABC. Right.
Got it. Corona, any questions?
Man, what would you suggest for a first timer at a BDSM party or event like me tonight?
Very open communication. I went to an orgy once that the proprietor had numerous red handkerchiefs. So if someone came towards you, you didn't have to say out loud, I'm not interested, you don't look like my kind of person. You would just wave your red handkerchief, you know, and that would be it. So and they would turn away.
That means stop.
What's that? Yes,
I was just checking that means stop. Okay.
Yes, sorry if I didn't clarify.
It's like a red flag. I like that.
Yes, right. Now, this BDSM party, do you have someone who's in the BDSM community that you're going with?
Absolutely.
So you stay like glue to them.
Absolutely.
And you communicate beforehand, hey, Chuck, hey, Bill, hey, Annie, these are the things I'm okay with. If you're going as a sub and you're being led around by a leash, which is particularly fun, if you're doing that, you want to say, hey, Annie, Chuck, Bill, I want to do this. I'm okay with this. If a tug on my ear, that means I don't want anything to do with that person that's walking towards me. And I am asking you, as the person who knows this language better than I do, to guide me and help me. And I'm looking to you, Chuck, as my guide and my protector. So please, tonight, if you want to go off in the corner and F so-and-so, let's make a plan. I'll meet you at blah, blah, blah. I'd really prefer it if I could be close to you. Not that I have to be a part of that activity.
Right.
But I need you to guide me.
I think the red flags, thanks for that. I think the red flags is a very simple way. I've been to the cuddle parties on many occasions, and they spend a little longer than I think it would take, but it's good that they do it. They take about an hour and what you do is say, oh, can I touch your shoulder? And if you say no, obviously that's going. But if you hesitate, then that's a no. So it's got to be a resounding yes. And so if you say no to me, I say thank you for taking care of yourself.
That's lovely. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
That is so evolved.
What a good language.
Yeah. And I've shared that. I haven't taken them to the cuddle parties, but I've shared that with some of the college students that I mentor. The thanks for taking care of yourself. Okay. How about consent with, and also it has to be a conversation. Consent with alcohol,
right?
And certain like certain types of drugs. What was
tricky.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
tricky because, you know, we have laws in place where we, you know, we don't have sex or sexual relations with people who cannot, or animals who cannot, they don't have the capability to consent. So it's different if Joe and Keith are in a relationship and they live together and they bring in a third sometimes, and Joe knows that Keith loves to do a whip it or poppers or something, right? And uh-oh, I'm loading. I'm frozen.
You're good. Don't worry about it. Don't worry
Okay.
about it. Don't worry about it.
Okay. So you know, poppers or something, and Joe knows that Keith likes to do that, or vice versa. I can't remember. Oh, we lost Corona.
Don't worry about it. Well, I'll work on that. Keep talking.
Okay, I shan't. I won't worry.
Okay.
Sorry, I had to burp. Listen, I don't hold in gas. Some of my friends know that because I've gotten to a certain age. If you have to let something go, you got to let it go, or else you don't feel well. Okay, so pardon.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So if those people have a relationship, I'm a firm believer of no politics in the bedroom. If I want to wear a diaper or if I want to jump around in a bunny suit, that's my business with my partner, and we have an understanding about it. If you don't have that, then it is a little trickier. You have to then manufacture that conversation that says, hey, you know what? I've met you and you're awesome and I'm super attracted to you, but I can tell you've had a little bit to drink. Is that the case? So-and-so says, no, I'm fine. You know what? You might be fine. And I'm enjoying your company. Here's my number. Let's do this again when you haven't had anything to drink. Because if you don't have that understanding, you might get into a sticky situation.
Here's what I do, and maybe you can take a look at it. Oh, you guys switch sides.
Oh, sexy.
So if I meet you
right,
and you've had something to drink, you cannot consent while you're having something to drink. If I meet you and you're sober and we say, hey, I have 2 drinks, I'm down to do it, then and I don't go any further than 2 drinks. Like I won't that's a good number
from the other person.
The other person
know your boundaries, right?
Yeah.
I hopped on here. My phone had kind of died on me, so I hopped on here, I think at the perfect moment, and I wanted to go to this exact question here with you guys because with myself, I've found that I struggle with my image. But it's also really empowering to wear lingerie, to go to a place where I know I'm safe, don't know anyone, and I feel just so sexy and so bold to come out of my shell in a public location like that. Right. And so I feel sometimes the need to be a little intoxicated, to feel more, I don't think it's confidence. I think it's like that liquid courage per se that you know
lets you loose a little bit.
Exactly.
Wouldn't it be?
And I was thinking about this exact thing because the party I'm going to is a completely dry location, so there's no drugs or alcohol allowed. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so that is that stressing you out a little bit?
It was leading up to now, but my friend told me, well, if you feel comfortable doing it at home, like you can pregame. So that's where I'm like, but I like what y'all are saying about honoring that you can't give consent when you are intoxicated, and schedule. Like if someone is really interested, they would schedule, right? If they wanted to, they could. If they wanted to, they will. And I think
now it does take away a little bit of, if you're saying I like a little something when I slap and tickle, then it does take away a little bit of that in the moment. Wouldn't it be incredible if you had a video of yourself that you could say, hey, soon to be partner, I am here talking to my camera. It's thus date and time. Who you're meeting in person has had a drink, but they really want to F you. Wouldn't that be great?
That's
It
good.
would be a little bit of a slippery slope. Right?
But that's kind of exciting, though. The fact that you thought about that.
Well, I just thought about it now. I thought, what would I do in that situation? Well, wouldn't it be nice, you know, if we could say, I'm ready.
Mm.
And this was me. Well, you know why I thought of it? If I ever get dementia, because it runs in my family, unfortunately, I want to create a video ahead of time that says, hey, friends and lovers, this is Famke. It's time to let me overdose on horse or something. Let me go somewhere, and I love you, and this is me in my clear mind. Zombie Famke wouldn't be saying this, but it's time. I wish that could be the case. I'm not sure they would allow it, but
interesting.
You know. Yes. I'll you can have me as your point man to help that.
Well, that is lovely. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
For sure. Do you remember Jack Kevorkian?
Sure.
Yeah. He would have been big. His Instagram page would have been powerful.
Huge.
Yeah.
So many of these revolutionary people who understand that we're all connected.
Yeah.
And that there's no difference from you or I or me or you or whatever. They were the pioneers. They're the excitement makers, even if it's about euthanasia, right? But it's someone who took a risk and says, this is right, by damn it. And they're before their time. They're ahead of their time, you know?
Sure.
And they struggle. You know, you take the microcosm of the art world, and Van Gogh, poor Van Gogh, struggled.
Yeah.
He never made a dime. Well, maybe a dime or a centime or whatever it was.
For sure. Any other questions?
Wow. She went to Van Gogh, y'all.
Yeah.
I just had a full circle moment right now.
This is just such a pleasure talking to you both. I really do appreciate you coming out.
For sure.
And inviting me out.
I don't mean to speak for Corona, but Corona, I'm consenting. Corona, can I speak for you?
What?
About inviting her back?
Absolutely. Are you joking?
Yes.
Oh,
we definitely like to. What other stuff? What other stuff can you speak about?
Body positivity. I am a life and death coach, so I can speak about death. So subject and topic we don't usually like to talk about in this country. But it's important.
And death is directly connected to sex.
Absolutely. The petit mort.
That's right.
The orgasm in French is called the little death. I mean, come on.
The mini death, right?
Right. I like that. The mini death.
Please explain that more to me.
The little death.
You lose your breath when you're orgasming.
You lose your mind,
your body, out of body experience.
I mean, let's face it. There comes a time when you're going to come where all bets are off. You know, you're not going to stop for anything.
I'm not fully understanding. Can you two demonstrate it at the same time?
You.
Oh, I thought I could sneak it in there.
Well, you know, I'm always up for a masturbation session, but then that takes us to a whole different kind of party.
Whole different reality.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Thank you.
I like this.
Thank you very much for this.
You're so welcome. I'm pleased to be here, and you both are lovely. And thanks for having me.
Exactly. And how do people find more about
you? Yes. Well, I'm terrible at this part. Let's see. This is my handle, which I think you can see somewhere.
We'll link it on the
page.
On the page as well.
Perfect. It says Famke Roumstead's How to F. Just the letter F. I used to have Famke Roumstead, but I lost the password, so I had to start again. I'm not very good at this sort of stuff. If any of your listeners would like a free sticker,
we all love stickers at Cannabis Wellness Party.
Well, you definitely will get a sticker, Corona.
Amazing.
This is my sticker.
Oh, wow.
And Steve has one.
Yes,
And
See, if I had two, I would wear them as pasties tonight.
oh my, I would have been so honored. Please do that sometime. I love that. I love that opportunity for sexiness. Anyway, if any of your listeners, watchers want this sticker, I will send it to you, and you can email me at famkeroumstead@gmail.com. Email me some sort of address. Okay.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Lots of love.
Yes.
Go F
Thank
yourself.
Peace.